So the locks existed, and Targets actually had to pay Kensington a royalty to use this and sell the locks. But in a corporate
Mm-hmm.
environment, the issue was that if you had individual combination locks that people could change the combination on, you couldn't.
Mm,
If they left or something happened or they forgot their combination, you couldn't get the lock off the notebook.
mm-hmm.
So there were solutions. There were master key solutions. So IT would buy 100 locks and they would all open with one key. Everybody would have their own individual combination, but IT can override it with a master key. Well, the problem is there, if you lose that key, you're back to square one. So this
Yeah.
solution would allow IT, every lock had a serial number on it. The user could not change their combination,
Mm-hmm.
but the IT manager, so if somebody left and left their computer locked, the IT manager could go up to our secure database or secure website, put the serial number in, and then get the combination. So
Mm-hmm.
it was an alternative to the master key solution.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, I think that's all I wanted for this bullet. You were also able to drive negotiations with a new security supplier, resulting in global indemnification and a 1.9 multi-million annual product cost savings. So, why don't you tell me more about this?
So that was, as I mentioned, Targus had to pay Kensington a royalty
Mm-hmm.
on the locks because of this patent. There was a lawsuit as well, but I found
Mm-hmm.
another supplier of the locks who indemnified us to say that none of their locks, anything that they supplied us, infringed on any Kensington patent,
Mm-hmm.
so that we no longer had to pay that royalty.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and you were able to save 1.9 million, or there's
Yep,
two M's, so I'm confused. It's $1.9 million, right?
it's a million. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, and what was this new security supplier? I mean, what were they called?
Um, I don't remember, quite
Hmm.
honestly.
Are there any challenges that you faced with the negotiations, for example?
Well, I think the biggest challenge was, were they going to, could they indemnify us? Were
Yeah.
they in that position, and then get internal buy-in that, sorry, that they were willing to take the risk and do that, and
Hmm.
walk away
When you
from
mention
paying the
internal,
Kensington royalty.
yeah. When you mention internal buy-in, do you mean like on an executive level?
Yeah, totally, because this was definitely an executive level decision,
Hmm.
legal, all the way up to the CEO.
Hmm. Okay, and you were personally in charge of driving these negotiations. It wasn't like a team of
Yep.
people, it was just
Nope.
you?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, cool. Awesome. You also overhauled global power compatibility solution that resulted in a 15% reduction in product returns. Um,
hmm
so yeah, tell me more about this. Why were products being returned in the first place?
So Notebook Power has proprietary connectors. Every brand has one or more connectors that go into the notebook to power it. So as part of when I took over Notebook Power, we didn't have a robust way to communicate to end users what tip they should be using, so they were buying the wrong product. So we put together an online database where you could go and look. And I had somebody working for me who that's what she did. That was her job, was to confirm compatibility um,
Mm-hmm.
for notebooks. And by having this in place, people were buying the right product. Um, Notebook Power returns are high anyway, because not only do people buy the wrong product, but people rent the product. So they'll forget their notebook.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be traveling. They'll forget their notebook adapter. They'll go buy one and then they'll return it. And we know
Mm-hmm.
people. We knew that fact. Our own our own finance guy did it because he forgot his notebook power and went to Best Buy and bought one and then returned it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the getting the compatibility on the tip straightened out was um, a huge way for us to help the consumer buy the right product. So it's sort of like when you go and buy, they had to look it up online, but when you go and buy wiper blades, you look through the book to figure out exactly which one you're buying. This gave the consumer a way to look up exactly which one they should be buying,
Mm-hmm.
and then using which one they should be using on their computer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you also played a key role as part of the cross-functional team that developed and implemented a new product development process. You also ensured unique needs of accessories development team were considered. So what type of unique customer or business needs did you identify?
So this was really Targus makes cases. They make laptop cases. That is their core business.
Mm-hmm.
And when the need came to have a formalized process, everyone looked at how notebook cases were developed and it went to market, and it's different than how accessories go because it's a different product. There's technology. It's different. So it wasn't so much the product, it was more this is a purely, or the customer, this is a purely internal process
Mm-hmm.
on developing products. So I and one other person from the accessory team were the representatives on this process team, and it was our job to make sure that our voices were heard, and that the way we came to market was included, or developed product was considered in this process, and it wasn't a one size fits all process.
Mm-hmm. So when you mentioned you developed and implemented a new product development process, and made sure that your sort of voices were incorporated in this process as well. I mean, what was happening before? Why did you feel the need to do this in the first place? Like, I'm kind of looking for more specifics.
It was Targus had a
Like,
lot of
sort of what was the
management
before and
changes.
after picture?
So Target,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't, we weren't the ones driving the, hey, we need this. We were bringing products to market. It was the need, the um, the new management wanted a formalized process,
Mm-hmm.
written down on paper, to say how we should be doing things, as an organization. So it wasn't that we weren't getting product done. It was that a new
Mm-hmm.
management came in and said, we need a formalized process.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there was no formalized process in the first place.
Yeah, there wasn't something that was like written down and tracked, whereas, now
Mm-hmm.
they wanted a formalized, stage gate process,
Mm-hmm.
which wasn't a whole lot different than what we were doing. It was just formalized.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but that definitely made, the go-to market strategy or the plans a lot more streamlined, I guess, right?
Um, yeah, it,
And
it
what
was,
other improvements, followed after implementing this process?
yeah, it was 15 years ago. I don't know. I can't, I remember doing it. I don't know the specifics. I can't remember the specifics on it.
Okay, no worries. I actually wanted to mention, I think for your last role, as in your first role, as a senior product manager at Canon Computer Systems.
Hmm.
Is this something that you would like to include, or do you want me to leave that out of your resume because it was a long time ago? Or if you want, I can just include a brief summary of what you did here, but is this something that you would like me to keep?
So, if it fits, that's fine. If it doesn't fit, I think the conversation that we had was that, my resume was okay. It was just adding
Mm-hmm.
my latest position, that my LinkedIn profile
Yeah.
was going to get the focus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Okay, then I will stick to that. If there's space, then I will definitely include it. If not, I could just briefly mention that you were at this company. Canon Computer Systems. Is that fine?
Yeah, cause yeah, but that's like way back. There's
Yeah.
stuff in between there. But I mean,
Hmm.
there's positions in between there. I didn't go from Canon to Targus. I went from Canon to a startup that I'd like to forget to Sonnet to Targus.
Hmm. Yep. So sonnet is what we're going to touch on now. I just wanted